I wish I could give you a clock with an extra hour every day, but we'll do the next best thing. Let's start off with a question that I often ask when I'm speaking to a group, and when I ask it, everyone says yes. The question is, do you have less money than Jeff Bezos? Bezos is currently the richest person on the planet, and that's after he gave away a substantial portion of his wealth to his ex-wife. He may even be the richest person ever on the planet. If not, he's close. So of course you have less money than he does. But that's not the important question. The important question is, do you have less time than Jeff Bezos? It's interesting to think of it this way. It gives you the idea that there's always more money available, but there's never more time. Of course, there's never any less time either. Bezos earned his wealth by founding and running Amazon. So am I going to show you how to spend your time and become as wealthy as he is? No. If I knew that, why wouldn't I just do it myself instead of sharing it with you? I mean, I like you guys, but come on. What I am going to do is show you how you can run your company better in the time that we all have, the 24 hours in a day. My name is John Cipher, and I've been a business owner all my adult life. This session of CEO Bootcamp contains one of the most important techniques I help my clients with. If you get this one, it will make all the others easier. And if you don't, the others may be impossible. They will certainly be harder. Strap in and let's get started. Time flows like a river. The thing I want you to take away from this is that time is your most precious commodity. But you have to spend it. You can't not spend it. So how you spend it is the most important decision you'll ever make. And you'll make that decision over and over again, multiple times a day. But this is not a session on productivity or time management. It's more important than that. To see why, let's take a look at what your company needs to produce. Your company only has to do 3 things to survive. It has to make something that people want to pay for. It has to find those people and sell to them, and it has to support the making and the selling, usually by making an organization that grows and becomes more profitable as you make and sell over and over again. You probably spend a lot of your time doing one or the other of those 3 things. As CEO, you coordinate all of that activity, even if it's mostly you doing them. You coordinate when you'll be making, when you'll be selling, etc. And if there's others that do the making or the selling or the support, you'll be coordinating them. That coordination is the first task of the CEO. Another way to say it is coordination is the primary output of the CEO function. When the CEO function isn't working right, things aren't as coordinated as they should be and stuff falls through the cracks. Remember I said there were only 3 things? Well, I worded it in a very specific way. I said there are only 3 things a company has to do to survive, but to thrive, a company needs a 4th thing. That 4th thing is vision. The CEO is in a unique position to provide that vision and to direct the making, selling, and supporting in the direction of accomplishing that vision. This is called leadership. The CEO uses his or her leadership skills to focus everyone's activity to bring that vision to pass. And so leadership is the second major output of the CEO function, after coordination. But there's a problem. Vision is not urgent. The other stuff is. There are a lot of vision-related tasks, but almost none of them have to be done today. Unlike the making or selling or supporting tasks, vision stuff can be put off. What that means is everything you spend time on is in one of these quadrants. This is called the Eisenhower Matrix. It was popularized by Stephen Covey in a couple of his books, but it came from President Eisenhower. The first quadrant is things that are urgent and important. The second quadrant is things that are important but not urgent. And the third quadrant, things that are not important but they are urgent. And the fourth quadrant is neither, not important, not urgent. Everything you spend time on is in one of those quadrants. All the CEO functions usually fall into this quadrant, quadrant 2, so we call that CEO time. The problem is that the person with the title of the CEO in most companies spends so much of their time in the other quadrants that quadrant 2 gets neglected because it's not urgent. But when you spend enough time in quadrant 2, you actually solve and prevent a lot of the emergencies that happen in quadrant 1. So the more time you spend in quadrant 2, the less time you need to spend in quadrant 1. You may have heard of a book called The EMyth by Michael Gerber. It's pretty good as far as it goes. And in it, he coined the phrase, work on your business, not in your business. And everybody hears that and goes, what a great idea. working on your business as CEO time. But most people don't know how to do it, and so they fall back into the urgent. We'll get to how to use your CEO time later in this boot camp, but first, how do you find CEO time? Well, the truth is, you don't find it. You have to grab it, you have to take it, you have to seize it, and most of all, you have to protect it from all the stuff that's merely urgent. And that's what we're going to do right now. Your first action item is schedule CEO time. Get out your calendar, block out CEO time every week. I suggest at least 2 hours a week. 4 is better. I recommend you do it at the same time every week and do it in a special location away from your daily work if that's at all possible. Do it when you're most productive and least distracted. If you can't block out a full 4-hour chunk every week, then break it up into a couple of smaller chunks, but put it in your calendar as the most important activity, the most important appointment you will ever have. The second action item is get a CEO notebook. I use OneNote, which is an electronic file. You might prefer paper, so get a nice leather-bound paper notebook, something that you'll enjoy writing in. Maybe it's time to get a new tablet or something electronic, whatever works for you, but something that you enjoy, and keep it just for your CEO notes. The key concept here are the rules for CEO time. Nothing urgent. No meetings, no calls, no emails. Turn off your phone, turn off your notifications. Do not be interrupted, and keep your schedule every week. So now that we've got CEO time blocked out, what do you do in your CEO time? Well, the first thing you do is think. And the way to have lots of good ideas is to have lots of bad ideas. Actually, to have lots of ideas. Most of them will be bad. I mean, none of us is perfect. But the more ideas you have, the more good ones you'll have. And capture those ideas in your CEO notebook. So start by just jotting down your thoughts. And one suggestion is always put the date on every page when you write it down. That way, as you go back through, you'll be able to figure out when you had these ideas, which ones are better and which ones aren't so good anymore. Another thing you'll do in your CEO time is to improve the systems in your company for making, selling, and supporting. There are a lot of other things to do during CEO time, and we'll get into those a little later in this boot camp. But I made a handout for you to use in your notebook of different pages that you can put into your notebook. This will come to you in Word file or in PDF, so you can print it out, you can duplicate it, you can modify it as it makes sense for you. So your action items from today are to schedule CEO time and get a CEO notebook and start using it. If you'd like a copy of this deck or the handouts, email me, john@ceobootcamp.com. Be sure to let me know which session you want the slides for, because I do so many of these. One of the things I do with my clients is help them to make better use of their CEO time. If that's something that interests you, also email me, john@ceobootcamp.com. Thank you.